Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to do a quick tabletop review of a few different handguns, all about the same size. You can see them on the table right here. We've got a CZ P01 steel frame, actually, not the typical either Omega or the standard P01 that you'll see. We've got the wonderful PCR, and we've got a Staccato C2. So relatively all the same size. We'll do some comparisons. First off, these are all empty mags just for video comparison. If you want to be able to check, chamber's empty, yada, yada, yada. Get that out of everybody's way, just in case you're wondering. Takes up so much time of videos. Anyway, we've got these three handguns we're going to do some reviews of tonight. But I wanted to do a comparison because my last video I talked about the PCR, how I loved that. I got it back from Impact Machine getting a red dot milled on top. I had some slide serrations on the front and the back put on, deepened from the standard CZ notches that you have. Wanted something a little bit more aggressive. So ended up doing that. Well, lo and behold, later on this year, or later on last year, I was able to pick up a Staccato C2. So when we look at those, very similar sizes, and actually, if I can get this right, I would say that the CZ is slightly bigger, very, very small. When we look at grip to grip, very similar sizes. I mean, it almost disappears underneath that PCR there. And obviously the P01 is going to be almost identical to that, just a lot heavier. But we were able to do some comparisons. I have fell in love shooting that Staccato. It's definitely my favorite carry gun at this point because the weight is light, it's nimble, it shoots very accurately and effortlessly. Versus the PCR, it took some adjustment for me to get used to. Now it's great feeling in the hand. The weight's really nice on it, especially with that red dot being on there. It's very accurate for me. Still need to do some Cajunizing on the inside of this gun. Right now it's still the stock internals because I was carrying it so much. I wanted to make sure I could keep it very reliable. The P01 steel frame, though, however, is completely Cajunized with the Pro Kit. So, well, and let me say, then I upgraded it to being single action only because I was in a quest to make it as close to a Staccato as I could before I had the Staccato. So I found that unicorn gun and I did all the upgrades on it, Cajunized it, and then have enjoyed it ever since. Put some nice stippled grips on there, or some tacky grips, very similar to the Lock. This is an Amazon brand. I think I've done a review on those before, but believe they were gun grips, GUNN grips on Amazon. You can find them in different colors. These were actually OD green, and I dyed them black because I did not like the way the OD green looked. But I wanted to do some comparisons for you. And, you know, if there's any questions in the comments, which I'm sure there will be, answer those. What everybody seems to be really annoyed with is when I took this gun and made it single action only for something that most people would view as being almost a perfect handgun as it is. Pretty rare model. Now that CZ has come out with the Shadow 2 Compact, these are closer in production to what that is from a weight standpoint, even though the new C2 Compact has an aluminum frame. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. So I wanted to give some quick updates on that. Definitely the Staccato is one that I enjoy carrying the most. However, I have a nice leather holster from Bitterroot Gun Leather. Took about 8 months to get it, so I was really happy when it came in. This one is probably the one I would carry if I'm going to outside the waistband carry. I call it the church gun because it is a little bit classier. It's a little bit dressed up. These grips, however, may find themselves making their way onto this P01 at some point in time, and I'll go back to having a more sticky grip because these are pretty smooth. Now, granted, this has some front strap, I don't even know what you'd want to call that. It's got some grips on the front and back, versus the P01 steel frame is completely smooth on both sides. So I want something that is going to be a little bit easier to grab onto. One of the reasons I upgraded those. Now, just to talk about kind of the evolution of carry that I've had, I went from my P10C to a P10S and enjoy those. I still carry the P10C very often. I don't have the P10S anymore. It's just something I didn't need with all the options that I have. And then I moved on to the PCR and then to a P01 Omega. So I did go through a couple different things before I wound up with this Staccato, and I enjoy that heavily. But one of the things that annoys me about this gun, and it's probably not going to show up on camera. No, probably not. Right underneath where the optics plate is, it almost looks like it's surface rust. It's not. It's just goo, basically, that builds up from the sweat of your body, and it makes it look like it's rust colored, versus all my other guns that I have optics milled don't have that issue. So that is one annoying little thing that I have about it. So if it's really hot out, or if I'm not wearing an undershirt, something like that, I won't carry the Staccato in fear that it may have some rust issues in the future, which they'll take care of if that's the case. Versus the PCR, I've carried it, hot, sweaty, it doesn't have any issues. So I'm very pleased and impressed with this handgun, and it's one that I'll keep forever. I just need to do some more upgrades, maybe get rid of this curved trigger, get something a little bit flatter on there, but enjoy it quite a bit. It's very smooth, action's very nice on it, so I stick to that. Don't really have anything else that I wanted to talk about in this video specifically. Just wanted to give an update and show some size comparisons for everyone. If you have any more questions, I'm happy to do that. I do have a couple videos I will thread in here that talk about the shooting experience. So in the next couple days, you'll see those get posted. And then maybe some more footage of this guy here. That's one that it's probably a video that hasn't done super well on my channel. It just doesn't have a whole lot of views, but it's also a gun that not a whole lot of people really know about. So we'll see what we can do. The fun part about that is we could take this one, we can line it up, and these notch marks that you'd normally take down this slide aren't necessarily there anymore. But you can take, let me use one with a harder base. Get my little girl hands here. Yeah, somebody will make a comment about me hitting that too hard. That's all right. Well, goodness gracious, here we go. One of the things we like to do with this, in that mission of having my CZ inspired, my Staccato inspired CZ. Wow. Must be late at night. Here we go. There you go. We can do some Frankenstein business here. And now we have a red dot on a P01 steel frame. Now, the one thing, I did switch these to a Shadow 2 external safety, because the one that comes with the gun flips on and off way too easily. So I do have this extended one, even though I'm left-handed. It doesn't necessarily help me out at all, but don't have any issue reaching that with my left thumb if I were to carry it. It fits in all my holsters the same way. It's just a lot heavier. I mean, you're talking about the same weight as a Shadow 2. We're very close to it. So, pretty cool. I enjoy seeing that. It is a nice little combo, and it shoots very smooth with being single action only. And because of the weight, the recoil is pretty light. Not that it's too bad to begin with. So, anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Enjoy. Take care of each other. The world's crazy out there. All right, have a good night.